Okay, so hi. um, Recently I uploaded my college decision reaction video to YouTube. You might have seen it, you might not have seen it, but if you're new here, hi, my name is John, and recently I was accepted into a couple colleges, including Princeton University, Columbia University, Dartmouth College, Williams College, and the University of Notre Dame. So it's been like 3 weeks since I posted that video, and most of the comments that I've been getting recently have been asking me to do a stats video talking about what I did to get into the Ivy League and similar schools. So that is what we're here to talk about today. So a couple of points before I get into the video. The first one being that nothing that I say in here is bragging. This is honestly just what I did in high school, and I'm not trying to like show off or anything, because trust me, my stats and activities are not perfect. So yeah, please don't take this as me trying to brag. Second, every student who gets into the Ivy League, gets into a top school, has a different journey, has done different activities, gotten different scores, etc. This is something that I've noticed through all of these videos that I watched when I was in high school, and then also through interacting with other students who got into similar schools as I did in the past couple weeks since decisions came out. So yeah, just take everything that I say kind of with a grain of salt. And when you watch this video and other videos, don't compare yourself too hard to the people in them, because it's not healthy. That's something that I should have learned a lot earlier in high school. And then third point being, if you went to my high school or if you know me, great, you're gonna see in this video what I've been doing for the past 4 years. So on that note, let's get into the video. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is start off with my high school courses and grades, then talk about GPA and class rank for a little bit, and then standardized test scores, and finally my activities, the stuff that I listed on my Common App. So courses and grades, in my opinion, are the most important kind of academic component of your college application. A lot of people tend to focus on standardized test scores, but based on what I've read, what I've watched in videos, etc., and just kind of the vibe that I get, what's more important than your SAT or your ACT score is how difficult of a schedule you've taken in high school and how you have succeeded within that level of difficulty. Obviously, not all schools have the same opportunities. Not all of them have the same classes, the same level of difficulty. What's just important, and what I've kind of learned, is that you push yourself within the environment that you are in and with what is available to you to show to colleges that you're challenging yourself and that you're working hard and you're ready to work and succeed within the rigor of their college atmosphere. So at my school, that's exactly what I try to do. I think that we offer around 20, 18-ish AP classes, and I took almost all of them. I took all of the ones basically that I was able to. At my school, you're only allowed to start taking AP classes sophomore year, or at least that's how it was when I started going through the system, and you have a limited number that you can take then and a limited selection. It really opens up junior year, so you'll see that when I start reading through. Also at my school, there are a couple of required classes that all students have to take depending on what grade they're in, so those will be in here too. So I'm just gonna read the course titles and the grade that I got in each of them. So freshman year, the required classes that I had to take were Intro to Engineering and Design and Microsoft Fundamentals. And those were both half year, and I got an A+ in both of them. For electives that year, I took Basic Photography and Broadcast Video Production 1, which were also both half year, and I also got A+ in both of them. At my school, with language classes, when I started going through high school, the first 2 levels would be regular weighted classes, and then the upper 2 levels would be weighted as honors. So freshman year, I also took Spanish 1, which was just a regular class, and got an A+ in that. I've also done orchestra all 4 years, so that's graded on either outstanding, satisfactory, or unsatisfactory, OSU, and I got an O, or outstanding, in that, and took it every other day with gym. So then for my academic classes freshman year, I took English 9 honors, in which I got an A, geometry honors, in which I got an A, biology honors, in which I got an A+, and American Cultures 1 honors, in which I also got an A+. So going into sophomore year, I took gym online over the summer, one of the best decisions I've ever made, because that meant that I got to take a study hall every other day with orchestra, which was important for me because I knew that I was going to be taking AP classes this year and wanted a little more time to study. So for the required classes sophomore year, I took health and family consumer science, both of which were half year, both of which I got an A+ in. I took Spanish 2, which again was regular weighted, and I also got an A+ in. And then I took orchestra every other day with study hall, and again got an outstanding in orchestra. So then I had a full year elective sophomore year in which I took AP Art History, one of my favorite classes I've ever taken, and got an A+ in that. And then for my core classes, my academic classes, I took AP United States History, in which I got an A+, Algebra 2 honors, in which I got an A, Chemistry 1 honors, in which I got an A+. And then for honors English, my sophomore year, it was semesterized into 2 courses, Lit Foundations 10 honors and Lit and Comp 10 honors, and I got an A+ in both of those classes. So for junior year, going into it, I took gym online again so that I could still take orchestra every other day with study hall instead of having to have that gym in there. So there were no more required classes. Like, when I say required classes, I mean no like academic requirements. Like I still had to take an English and like a math, etc. But I didn't have to take like health or anything like that junior year. So for my courses junior year, I really decided to stock up on the AP classes. I took as many as were available to me, which were 5 that year, considering that I still wanted to take Spanish. So junior year, my classes were orchestra and study hall, got an outstanding in orchestra again, Spanish 3 honors, in which I got an A+, AP English Language and Composition, in which I got an A+, AP Human Geography, in which I got an A+, AP Psychology, in which I got an A+, Pre-Calc honors, in which I got an A, AP Statistics, in which I got an A+, and AP Chemistry, in which I got an A-. So for senior year grades, the classes that I'm taking this year, I don't have my final grades in each of my classes yet because the school year isn't over, but I do have my grades for the first semester, which are just what I'm going to talk about in here, because I'm pretty sure that grades might end up being a little weird this year because in my state, we're done for the rest of the year because of coronavirus. So I don't know how that's going to affect things right now. And my first semester grades are the last grades that colleges saw for me. So those impacted their decision, and we're just going to talk about those. So this year, I am taking all AP and college and the high school classes with the exception of orchestra. College and the high school is dual enrollment with a college. It's really similar to AP, except instead of having to test for AP credit or in college credit, you automatically get it by passing the course. So this year I'm taking AP Calculus AB, in which I have a B+, AP Physics 1, in which I have a B+, but it's really close to an A-, so hopefully by the end of the year. I have orchestra every other day with study hall, and I have an outstanding in orchestra. I have intermediate college Spanish 1, in which I have an A+, that's run through the University of Pittsburgh, so by passing that class, I automatically get credit through Pitt. I take AP Macroeconomics as an independent study. It was the same period as Calc, so I take it on my own, and I have an A+ in that. I take AP United States Government and Politics, in which I have an A+, AP European History, in which I have an A+, AP English Literature and Composition, in which I have an A+, and then first semester, I had the wonderful idea, to take AP Microeconomics online by myself. Spoiler alert, it was one of the worst academic decisions I ever made. It was extremely difficult to complete on time with college applications and my extracurricular responsibilities and all of these other hard classes. So long story short, it was very difficult. I lost a lot of sleep. I stressed a lot, but I got an A. So hopefully, I think it was worth it in the end. And then in terms of GPA and class rank, my school does not do unweighted GPA. We only do weighted. It's on a very strange scale though. I still don't know how it works, and no one else does really, except for maybe the guidance counselors and the people who calculate it. So it's probably not great for you to compare because I have no idea how it works. But when I applied to college, which was before the end of the first semester, my GPA was a 4.660 out of 4, and my class rank was 3. But after the first semester ended, class rank and GPA were recalculated. My GPA went up to a 4.7 something. I don't remember exactly what, and I also don't have it because we weren't allowed to keep it. But my GPA went up to a 4.7 something. My class rank went down to 5. So that's not great, but at least my GPA went up. So colleges were able to see improvement there. So in terms of stats, after high school grades, the next thing that I want to focus on are standardized test scores. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I really don't think that these are the be all end all in terms of college admissions. I think it's much more important how you succeed within high school. However, these still do play a role in admissions, so that's why we're going to talk about them. So I actually took both the SAT and the ACT 2 times. I first took the SAT in November of my junior year. I studied, but not as hard as I should have, and I wound up getting a 1410, which I was happy with as a first kind of base score. I got a 730 on evidence-based reading and writing and a 680 on math. I took it a second time in the March of my junior year and definitely studied more. I logged a lot of minutes on Khan Academy, but in the end, I don't really think it was conducive to my learning style or what I specifically needed to be reviewing, and my score went down. The second time I took the SAT, I got a 1400, still got a 730 on evidence-based reading and writing, but I got a 670 on math. However, this time I did take it with the essay and I got a 21 out of 24, which I was happy with. Now, after I took the SAT for the second time, I decided that it just wasn't for me. I didn't really like the layout of it. I definitely did not vibe with the math section, and I decided to turn my focus to the ACT. So I took my first ACT in the April of junior year, only a month after I took the SAT for the second time, and I did not study at all, which was a huge mistake on my part. But in my defense, I was really stressed. It was AP exam season soon. I had a lot of stuff going on, and I just got overwhelmed and pushed it to the back of my agenda. But it wound up working out because I did get a 32, which I was really happy with for my first score. I got a 36 on reading, a 35 on English, a 28 on math, and a 28 on science. I also took it with the essay and got a 10 out of 12, which I was satisfied with. After that test, I decided to take it one more time in September of my senior year, and I really focused my studying for the second test on the science section because based on how I felt taking it the first time, I definitely knew that I had the best chance at improving my score in that section, whatever. So that's what I did, and I actually improved my science score by 5 points, which I was very happy with. I brought my composite score up to a 33. I still got a 36 on reading, 35 on English, 28 on math, but I brought my science score up from a 28 to a 33, so that brought up my composite by a whole point, and I was very happy with that. And that is the score that I wound up submitting to colleges. I also did show, though, the 10 out of 12 on the essay from the first test date, but I did not report my SAT scores, any of them. And then in terms of SAT subject tests, I took 2, but only submitted 1. The score that I submitted was US history. I took it right before junior year started, and I got a 760 out of 800. The second one I took was Math 2 right before senior year started, and I did really badly. So yeah, I did not submit that. Yeah. So that concludes like the scores component of stats, I feel like. So then the next part that I will get into is extracurriculars. So on the Common App, they give you 10 spots to list extracurricular activities that you did throughout high school, and then you can also use the additional information section. And I used both of those sections. The Activity section, definitely more for my bigger activities, things that I devoted more time to. And then additional information was definitely more for little things that I didn't think I could write a whole activity description for, but I still wanted to include and show that I had participated in. So for my activities, I have been a member of orchestra for the past 4 years. I have been the associate concertmaster of the full orchestra since junior year, and that means that I'm the second chair first violinist. And then I have also been second chair first violin in chamber orchestra since my freshman year. I've also participated in county orchestra, which is a competitive orchestra for 2 counties, mine and a neighboring one. I've done that since freshman year. And my sophomore year and senior year, I was in the select group, which is composed of the top couple players from each instrument section within already the county orchestra. I also auditioned for district orchestra, which is bigger. It's like 7 counties instead of 2, I think, since my freshman year. Never made it, but I got close, 5th alternate junior year. But I did include it because I wanted to show that I tried, and I think that helped, so yeah. The next thing I included in the activities section was National Honor Society. I joined last year as a junior. That's when it first becomes available to everybody. And I was elected one of our 2 junior representatives. And then this year for senior year, I was elected our chapter president. I also included Key Club and Model United Nations. I've been part of both of those clubs since my freshman year. And I started serving as communications coordinator of Key Club last year near the end of junior year, or about halfway through. And for Model United Nations, I was our chapter secretary this year. I also included tutoring. I've tutored at the middle school since my sophomore year, and I've tutored English at my high school since last year. Additionally, I included a program that I do called Big Star Little Star. I did that this year. It's open to juniors and seniors at my high school, where you get paired with a student in one of the elementary schools in our district and serve as their mentor. I also included on my application Renaissance Committee. It's a committee of 4 to 5 students in each grade who are referred from middle school teachers when they come into 9th grade. And then there's an essay and interview process. The role of the club has changed. Freshman and sophomore year, we were really focused on promoting good grades, etc., through ice cream socials and stuff. And then last year, we started a program that kind of broadens our message to the entire community beyond just academics to being like a good person. And it's definitely been a big undertaking. We do a pep rally, there's a lot of contacting businesses, etc., but it's an organization that I really enjoy being a part of, and I included that on my activities. And then the 2 other activities that I included in the activities section were that I worked last summer at a mini golf course and ice cream parlor. Fun times, so I included that on there. And then I've also been giving private violin lessons since the summer before senior year started. I volunteered at a strings camp and really enjoyed it, and started a similar program at my high school. It's definitely been kind of a struggle to get it running and get participation, but I'm very glad that I did take the time to do that because I love giving lessons. And yeah, so that's another thing that I included on there. So I forgot, but before I get into additional information, which is the last thing that I'll talk about, I do want to mention the honors and awards section of the Common App. So the honors and awards that I listed for myself were really where I talked about writing, which was one of the major threads in my application that I talked about. I involved it in my essay. I applied as an English major. So I really used this to show my involvement with writing, because I don't have any writing clubs or anything that I do, but I do have competitions that I participate in. So this is where I expressed that. The first one I put was that I was accepted into the Apprentice Writer, which is a national high school student short story anthology, also poetry and art, I believe. I put that as a junior, I received a Gold Key and American Voices nomination in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. This year, I also received a couple more awards in that, but it was after application season, so didn't get a chance to include those. I included that I am an AP Scholar with distinction, which I believe means that I took 5 or more exams, got a certain number of 5s, and my average score was a 4.5, something like that, but I did include that. And then I included some awards that were specific to my high school. So at my high school, at our end of the year awards, we have an AP Student of the Year for most of the AP classes, where I think it's based on a combination of grades and some other characteristics. So I got 3 of those awards my junior year and 1 my sophomore year. Junior year, I was AP Student of the Year for AP Human Geography, AP Psychology, and AP English Language and Composition. And then during sophomore year, I was AP Student of the Year for AP Art History. So I included those on there. Then finally, in the additional information section, I included some other awards and activities. In terms of awards, I put that I was on the honor roll for all of high school up until application season. I put that I won this certificate of merit for my state for my ACT score. And then I also included that I was named Student of the Month through my local Rotary Club in the month of November. And then for some additional activities, I just mentioned some little things. I put that I'm a student ambassador at my high school, which is like giving tours to people. I mentioned the private violin lessons that I take through this local college close to me. And yeah, just some little things like that. With terms of AP scores, I did include scores for all the exams that I took just to show that I actually took the exams and nothing was just like eerily missing. So the scores that I got were a 5 on APUSH and a 5 on art history for sophomore year. And then during junior year, I got a 5 on AP Human Geography, 5 on AP English Language, 4 on AP Psychology, 3 on AP Chemistry, and 3 on AP Statistics. So thankfully I did pass all of my exams before college application season, so very grateful for that. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up stats and other stuff. If I remember anything else, I will try to include it later, but yeah, that's all that I can think of right now. Thank you guys for watching this video. I still have not decided on a college, but I will do that soon, and I plan on releasing a video talking about how I decided and where I'm going to end up going. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video and want to see similar ones, and yeah, have a good day, you guys. Thank you.